What's up, everyone? It's your boy Norn Rad 89 here, bringing you another video. And where we're continuing our countdown to Halloween, on to now another subgenre of horror films, found footage. And I must be honest, right off the bat, like up front, found footage isn't my favorite, like anywhere near my favorite. This is probably my least favorite subgenre in horror. But over the last week, I have digested like 20 plus found footage films because I didn't have like an overall huge inventory that I knew of to dig into. So yeah, over the last like 7-8 days, I've been digesting like 3 to 4 found footage films every day. Needless to say, I've been watching a lot of people argue on camera with horrible cinematography about being lost in some kind of building or in a woods or somewhere like that. But today, I did eventually narrow down my top 10, my favorite, and that's what we're going to do today is talk about my list. So what that means is I would love to hear from all of you in the comments section. Share your list of some of your favorite found footage horror films. Let's do this. Roll it. Coming in at number 10, let's kick this list right off the bat. Found footage, Devil's Doorway. This is a film, found footage Ireland film, where we follow a priest and another young, I think he's a priest in training, and they go to investigate a miracle that's happening at a place where the nuns, like, they take in orphans and all that kind of stuff. There's a group, like a nunnery where they have them there, and there's statues of the Virgin Mary are bleeding, like, with from the eyes, with the tears of blood. So this film, I like this found footage film because it doesn't typically follow the same gimmicks and same stuff that we usually see. When you watch a lot of found footage films, as I did over the last like 8 days, there's a lot of same gimmicks, the same setups, just the same typical characters. And this one is much more type of like an Exorcist blend, taking in that religion aspect of it, you know what I mean? Or like, the Omen, Poltergeist, it really does pull out of, that religious aspect of films from that era or subgenre and puts it into a found footage film. And I like the fact that it's in Ireland, like our Irish priests, like they have these really cool accents and stuff. And we have the young priest who believes in miracles and believes that it's possible. And then we have our kind of older priest that's more cynical, has been around the block, needless to say, and has seen things, and he doesn't really think, there's real miracles out there. So them two characters are kind of typical in a like kind of poltergeist type movie, but their chemistry together is great. The cinematography is actually pretty good in this one and haunting, and I like where we end off, even though it's a dark, very somber ending. I won't spoil anything, but yeah, it's a pretty dark film. It's a rough watch. There's some heavy content in this film, but I enjoy it. Next up, we have M. Night Shyamalan's The Visit, and I think this film is highly underrated. A lot of people think M. Night Shyamalan hasn't really done a great film since like Signs or Split, like was one of his best newer ones, but The Visit is freaking amazing. This found footage film, I think, did a really good job. We have two good central characters in our sister and younger brother character, and they are fabulous as they're visiting their grandparents, and as it goes on, like darker stuff you find out about them, as they stay there. Their mom leaves them there to stay there and stuff. And oh man, it's one of those films that the creepy value is there. I think this one, M. Night Shyamalan really did just go back down to basics and focus on these central characters in the script. And I think all the characters in this one are very strong. All the performances are strong, and there's a lot of haunting imagery that's like, it's not technically like jump scary, but it works. It's good stuff, and I like it. Next up, we have a film by Patrick Bryce, I believe is our director, and that's number 8 is going to be Creep. Oh man, this one is streaming on Netflix. That's where you can catch this one right now. And man, Creep is an awesome, cool found footage film because it does take a new approach as we're watching a videographer documenting a guy's life who is sick. We think that this man is supposedly sick and he's dying, and he wants to leave a video for his child and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's one of those films that it builds up the tension. The tension just keeps wrenching up, and I like that. At first it just kind of seems like a normal thing, and then it gets creepier. No pun intended, creep. But yeah, it just wrenches up the tension, and our main actor, I believe Mark Duplass is our main actor. He does a fabulous job as our lead role. He really does bring a certain character to life that you like in this film. Well, not like, but you like to watch because he's engaging. all the scenes, like I said, as it keeps going, it really does keep going. And that final ending scene, yeah, it does nail it for sure. And I believe Patrick Bryce is actually in this film. He plays Aaron, I think, the videographer, which I thought was kind of cool as well. But coming in at number 7, just a hair above that, I actually liked this one a little bit better. I did enjoy Creep, but I think Creep 2 is actually a little bit better. There is a sequel. They're both streaming on Netflix, but Creep 2, I liked it. And from the beginning, I was just like, how are they going to do a sequel to this? Like, I understand you can, where they left it off. I'm like, you can totally do a sequel to this, but I'm like, how are you going to execute this when we as viewers already know the biggest secret about our main character? We already know where he is and what dark places is, haunted, where he comes from, kind of thing. And this film tackles it in a totally new way. Like, they bring it up right up front to this new videographer that he hooks in, who's this lady who has a YouTube channel, who likes going to encounter kind of weird and awkward people and help them or talk to them and do interviews with them. And she has, like said, trying to get views, but really trying to do art. She's doing YouTube, but she really wants to make really good artistic, meaningful videos. And she comes across our main character, played by Mark Duplass from the previous film. And yeah, it's a wild ride for sure. I thought Creep 2, like, the tension is still there. There's so many awkward moments in this film that I just were like, wow, I can't believe we're doing this. But I like our main character. She's a survivor. She has some really cool aspects and things about her where she's like handling this situation that she's in that you're like, damn, for real, she's a survivor. Coming in at number 6, we have House LLC, and this is another one I recently watched and was glorious. I had a great time with this one because we go with the whole realm of following a group of kids again, but it's kids that are creating a haunted house by renting this really old property, and they're gonna fix it up over the next like 30-40 days and then create a haunted house, make some money over the weekend and stuff like that. So I thought it was a cool banger idea, and it gives you a lot of reasons to have the different angles and the different cameras they have set up in the room. But I think the characters, my favorite thing is the chemistry. I think the characters all in this one, the chemistry is there, and you can feel it between all of them, and I like that aspect of the film. It also takes place at kind of 2 different times, because we have a before and an after. We're kind of watching footage as it previously happened, what happened to them, but then we also do see some footage of more recent time, like now, for people who are doing a documentary about what actually happened at House LLC to really uncover the deep, dark secrets. So yeah, this one was a fantastic watch for sure. Now, here we are at the top 5, and before we get down to that, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe so you get more videos like this. And coming in at number 5 is Go MGM Haunted Asylum. This is a South Korean found footage film that I heard so much about. Like, so many people on YouTube or on Twitter told me about this film. I've seen many people talk about it, even like other YouTubers do videos on it. And yeah, when I watched this one, it's pretty badass. It's awesome. Going GM Haunted Asylum. It's got really cool characters, and the build up to this one is awesome. I like the fact that it does kind of take a little while to take off, like a good 10-15 minutes maybe, where it's like, I could have maybe speed that up a bit, but the third act is so worth it for real. The effects and the, like I said, tension and the drama and thrills in that third act are amazing. We have some cool like effects and cinematography, as I was saying, for this one. And that's one thing, when you go to found footage, you know you're not going to be getting the greatest cinematography, because they're supposed to be very raw, very rugged, nature, like you're shooting with the cameras or body cams or steady cams or, webcams. Like, it's not going to be the best cinematography, but this one has cool imagery, and man, like the kills, and like when it happens, it's not really jump scary at all, but it's creepy, like a great, good vibe creepy, and I like that aspect of the film. So yeah, Go MGM Haunted Asylum, sorry, the name's kind of a tongue twister, sits comfortable here at the number 5 spot. Rolling in at number 4 is going to be a banger, VHS. And over the last week, I only watched the first VHS. I've heard some really good things about VHS 2, and they have, I think, a VHS 94. But VHS, I watched the first one, and man, this was written, I think, by Ty West, David Bruckner, Adam Wingard. There's so many writers and directors that were involved in making this film. That's what makes it great. As this is a found footage film that if you're not into found footage, this will be right up your alley, because it's 5 short stories within one film. So for attention span, if you don't have the attention span to watch like an hour and a half or a 2 hour long one story found footage film, this is perfect for you. Because like I said, it's a 5-story found footage film. It all has to tie into one story. And I like that. It kind of feels like almost Trick or Treat. If you've seen Trick or Treat, the way they handle their stories and they intertwine or overlap. So yeah, VHS has so many good creators that were involved in this and that came out of this film. And I'm so happy to see that they're making stuff now. Like David Bruckner's doing the new Hulu Hellraiser. You know, we have Ty West putting out some awesome stuff for A24. So yeah, VHS Slam Dunk is a banger for real. It's one of my favorites. That's why it's in the top 5, is because it was something new, this really cool aspect of filming. And some of the stories might not be awesome. Like there's 2 that I would say are kind of weaker compared to the other 3, but there's 3 stories that are really freaking badass. Coming in at number 3, we have Incantation. This one is also streaming on Netflix. That's where you can check it out. And this is a Taiwanese found footage film, so you're gonna have to read the subtitles for this one, but damn, this one was quite the ride. Some really cool visual effects, great performances. We have 2 different kind of storyline timelines, as well as we're following something that happened in the past that has to affect why we're dealing with what's happening in the present. But yeah, our main performance from the mother is awesome. So good, for real. Good creepy effects. The only thing I could say about this one is it does push the limits of being a little bit too long. It's about 2 hours. But I love the authenticity of this one and having that Taiwanese language and the culture and the lore in this one and deities and all that kind of stuff really do build this film up for sure. Number 2, rolling in the second spot to the top dog, is going to be Alone with Her. And oh man, this one with Colin Hanks, this stars Tom Hanks' son. Man, Alone with Her for me was one of the most gut-wrenching found footage films that I've seen. Like, I couldn't believe what they did in this movie. Like, this one really got me. Like, this is one like that has good, strong performances, this cool found footage feel, because a lot of the problems with found footage is I have is there's actual edits or there's shots where you're like, oh, what camera is that coming from and all this stuff. But this one is great as we follow Colin Hanks as he is a really obsessive type person and gets obsessed with this one our main character, this woman. He sets up cameras in her home unbeknownst to her and actually uses them to sneak his way into her life and try to become like her boyfriend. Like, oh, it takes a dark, twisted path. And this film for real was gut-wrenching, just punch to the gut, ripped my heart out. Couldn't believe how this one went down. But Alone with Her, I think, is a very strong, underrated found footage film. Like, highly recommend this one for sure. Oof, man, this one, I still get chills about it, but I still kind of want to watch it right now. Well, we all know there has to be a number 1, a top dog. The best of all the found footage films is going to be on Hulu streaming right now, Kiri and Spree. And I'm telling you right now, this found footage film hit all the marks for me, for real. Like, I can't believe this film isn't getting talked about as much as it should be, because I think Spree is heads and heels above a lot of these films. Like, I would say the top 3 are really close. Incantation, Alone with Her, and Spree were the 3 that I had the hardest time ranking which ones were going to go where, because I really do enjoy these 3. But Spree, man, as we follow Kiri as he's a rideshare guy, and he freaking goes on a killing spree, wild killing spree in one night, films it, documents it, live streams it. But this film does an amazing job. As like I said, one of my main problems with found footage films, I'm so picky with them, is that they have edits in them, like post-production edits and stuff like that. You can hear my dog barking outside. They have post-production edits and stuff like that, or camera angles that you don't understand where it came from or anything like that. But this one, Kiri, Spree, they answer all that in the credits. So you do have to watch the credits after you watch this movie. But man, I love the satirical dark comedy in this one, the way it handles itself. It does keep its, viewers at arm's length, so you don't get too invested in the characters or feel like threatened or like this is a horrible thing, even though what he's doing is very horrible stuff. It's kind of like this generation's American Psycho. I would totally classify it and describe it like that to somebody who hasn't seen it. And yeah, Spree was a slam dunk and is my favorite found footage horror films out there right now. So thanks for sticking around with me all for this list of 10 found footage films that I love. And I know a lot of you out there, people are probably upset at me. Where's the Blair Witch Project? Where's Paranormal Activity? Those films, I tried them out. I did watch those ones. Don't get me wrong, I tried them, but I just find them to be so boring and not enough happens in those ones. So for me, these were the 10 that really got to me over the last week. Some of them I've seen before, like before this, but over the last week, digesting a lot of found footage, these were the 10 that really got to me, and I totally recommend checking out. But like as I said in the intro, let me know in the comments section some of your favorite found footage horror films. I would love to hear from all of you, and make sure you stay tuned to the channel to see what my next ranking is going to be. Have a safe and happy day, everyone. Peace out.